We are going to be doing replay casts of Luna Meow versus Miracle, Gen G versus Team Liquid, and Beyond the Game versus Tempo Storm. These were, of course, broadcast on the Blizzard 2 stream. Shout out to Blizzard for at least having the stream live so that people could see the games going on. However, due to constraints in space at the venue, they are not able to have casters, but they are immediately, and I mean immediately, like these games went up as the stream ended, uploading all the replays for the day's games onto a Google Drive folder that is available to the larger content creation community. It's where Masterly gets their replays from. So, again, huge shout out to Blizzard for at least making these replays available to the community ASAP for the people who want to get more into detail, want to watch some aspects of the games that, maybe they missed because the commenters weren't there to give them that special insight. So we're starting out with Game 1, Luna Meow versus Miracle on Towers of Doom. This is Miracle's map pick. Clearly a map where they feel like they can excel, and Luna Meow did get first pick. I'm a little bit surprised overall with the draft, just that Abathur was ignored by both teams. Abathur's not a huge priority in either region, though. Just because they like to fight, honestly. I tweeted it out this time. Thank you for that, but I did remember. Remember this time. And there's going to be some more production value. Let's go around. We got some other things from this morning. I woke up this morning and I was just like, I just want to cast these games, and I did not set up scenes the right way, so it's going to be a little bit better. Abathur's a comp where you run an Abathur comp. You're not necessarily going to fight all the time. You have to pick your fights. You got to be doing something very specifically. So both regions like to fight. Both teams individually kind of like to fight. And so we're not going to see any sort of Abathur style comps. We're going to see Tyrande Medivh banned out. Just kind of interesting. It's kind of interesting when you ban two heroes. Like, Medivh is a good counter to Tyrande, and then Tyrande is good at blowing people up, which you just ban the solution for. So I don't exactly know what Luna Meow is doing with their drafts. I have Genji banned out. Diablo picked up. Miracle immediately locks in the Garrosh. I would argue that Diablo Garrosh is a skill matchup in terms of tanks. And then Luna Meow takes Deckard Hanzo, which can be difficult to get for Garrosh to deal with. And Miracle drafts the Raynor to sort of as a deny, and they draft the Thrall. Or, excuse me, they draft the Garrosh Raynor. Right there. Raynor is sort of a deny pick, it feels like. Raynor's very good into Garrosh because of the knockback. And then we see the Mathale and the Haka bands coming out, and Miracle goes for double melee. They go for Thrall and Kerrigan. Normally the problem-ish with double melee is you lack wave clear, but Kerrigan in and of herself in her own kit has enough wave clear for this to be, it's borderline okay. It's like just enough wave clear that you're still going to be able to rotate around the map, but you have to be very clean with your rotation. So high skill. Anytime you have a low wave clear comp, you essentially have high skill, because you have to be really perfect with every cooldown you use, every rotation you make. There's no room for error. So it's a relatively high execution comp, but it has a ton of kill pressure. If Luna Meow steps out of line, literally at all, they're 100% going to die. Even though they don't have, a heavy burst backliner with the Raynor, they don't have like a Jaina or anything like that. They will have enough damage. And then Luna Meow, playing it safe, goes for the Blaze Ming. And Miracle just last picks Malfurion for even more CC. Generally, without Ice Block, Malf is kind of in a position where he has to be last picked or have an accessory save. You got to evaluate the enemy team. Very good in Hanzo, though, and to Blaze, because they both have multi-target stuns. And of course, Malf's pseudo cleanse, soft cleanse, whatever you want to call it, does work on everyone. You guys ready for this? Boom! Production value. We have names. Also, I was gonna have an obs for this, but I realized there was an obs in the replay, which means there was an observer. And I can just lock my camera to the replay observer, and I have a built-in observer. This is amazing. So on the left-hand side of the map, we'll have Natrogen on Kerrigan, Frankel on Raynor, Blue Beetle on Malfurion, Judy on Garrosh, and Sniper on Thrall. On the right-hand side of the map, we will have Virgil on Blaze, Bake Cheese on Tahaka, Booyo 5 on Hanzo, Kim on Diablo, and Immortal on Li Ming. May break away from the observer now and then, see something that I want to see, but this is actually really convenient. bring up the talents for you guys. Pretty standard talents across the board. Nothing too exceptional. We are seeing the Innervate cooldown reduction for Malfurion, looking for more of that pick potential. They are cooldown locked in terms of getting picks in team fights in particular. So having Innervate more often will actually help with that significantly. It also just straight up helps with map uptime. Map uptime is a big consideration. Frankel just putting some free poke damage onto the Hanzo there on the rotation. We're going to see Kerrigan again used as an offlaner in the top lane. Sniper gonna have to be anchoring here. Judy trying to interfere with this rotation. Notice the split. Frankel is just moving towards the wave on that Raynor, and Judy is all about interfering with the rotation. Luna is trying, for whatever reason, to do a full 4-man rotation. They get stopped for so long that they just sort of decide to do Mercs instead while Liming, but Frankel's already cleared, which allows Miracle to go for the invade here. And this is the macro sense of better teams coming through. The fact that Luna and Meow did not have to know how to deal with their rotation being interfered with. They didn't know how to optimize their wave clear bottom, so they were disadvantaged on the rotation in any case. And we're going to see, going up. And now they're going to be able to shove those sappers in. It is going to get that entire tower. Small advantages, but small advantages add up over time in Heroes of the Storm. You never get one big advantage unless it's the very, very late game and you just win a team fight and that advantage is big enough that you just win the game. Generally, the early game is all about securing these small rotational advantages over and over and over again. There's a lot of decision-making. Beautiful wall stun coming out there from Kim, and a nice CC chain onto Judy. Judy has no one in range for the W, and Willen going down. Nicely executed by Luna and Meow, but unfortunately we're a little bit late on Soak to make that happen. And Kerrigan, meanwhile, responding. If you're bottom, I'm going to be top. Don't try to... If you're late on a rotation for your team like this is exactly the right decision to make. Get something done where you can. And there we see the Raynor being exceptionally good into Diablo. Especially on low ping, you can consistently queue that knockback, or queue the Shadow Charge from Diablo. Ooh, Nitrogen trying to 1v1 here on the top point. I don't know if he's going to be able to pull this off. He will. Virgil opts to back off. I think it was the confidence from Nitrogen. I don't actually know straight up who wins that 1v1. Certainly if Blaze had trade up, he might have been able to take it, but not sure if that was on cooldown or not. And we're going to do a pretty static position here. We're going to see Thrall anchoring mid. We're going to see Kerrigan anchoring top. Looks like Ming Blaze are matching, and then we have a 3-man in the bottom lane. Judy's just watching the potential rotation here, and actually Judy eats the flip right there for Frankel. Frankel actually takes a ton of damage from sitting a little bit too close to the wall. Bowie 005 doing work there onto Frankel. He does have to pop his heal. Malf stepping up to get that W. That's going to give him a burst heal. It's sort of an interesting dynamic with Malf's healing in particular, is you essentially can't heal for very much unless the enemy team is willing to walk up to you and let you W them. But he does manage to get a nice W there. Now Frankel is back to full health. So they're in this poke war. Blaze is here first. Nice jet propulsion, but no one there to follow up, unfortunately. They were not in position to take advantage of that superior rotation from Blaze. Judy just getting in there, throwing people around, causing chaos, trying to limit Kim's angles and get the interrupt on the Bake Cheese. He's looking for it again with the Q. Does get it. That's even going to be another stack for his level 1 quest. And Nitrogen on the flank there, they're really targeting Li Ming. They're waiting for Li Ming to be too far out of position so that they can go on her. But now they're going to move down through the choke. Hopefully they can get onto the Diablo here. Maybe it's going to be enough. Nitrogen almost lives. It was almost shields. If they can trade for the Diablo, that's going to be a worthwhile trade, though. And Luna Meow is significantly more chunked, except for the Frankel, because he did not have a rejuve ticking on him that entire time. It's actually such a big mistake by Beetle not to have those rejuves ticking on absolutely everyone in the composition. He was getting the W's off, but not everyone had the Q. He got distracted a little bit in his responsibility. They are going to be able to continually interrupt here. Diablo will be back first, but the 7 advantage coming in for Miracle. And Luna Meow has to ask themselves, do they want to keep doing this? If they keep poking these this bottom wave down for the vision advantage, they will eventually get level 7. And that may be enough. They do also have Hanzo. They have a lot of poke for stall, so they can stall to 7 if they want to. They do get it. Trickle experience plus the minion wave finally kicks in. Nitrogen finishes clearing that wave, so the vision is equal. Kim just trying to zone him out, though. It's interesting. Garrosh just walks up to Deckard in the back line. An unstoppable coming out of Judy. Throws into the phrase Nitrogen away. That cleanse effect saving Nitrogen from instant serious death there. Kim, again, very, very low. Does not have either of the level 1 talents that actually help him restore health. Did not go Feast on Fear or Devil's Due, instead opting for that spell shield to negate the burst. But the consistent damage just poking him down. Kim not quite able to avoid just eating damage into this Raynor Thrall composition, having enough poke to really punish him, and he can't quite find the angle to hard engage onto that backline. Both teams just going to go do their camps. It's a gentleman's affair now. Blaze did back for full mana. He was okay on health, but he did need that mana. Those mana nerfs coming in being actually quite impactful since that was such a long fight. And meanwhile, Kerrigan grabbing that mid soak did manage to pick that up. So because Blaze backed and went top, no one caught mid for Luna Meow. That puts them down a minion wave disadvantage at least here. I can actually swap over to experience real quick. You can see the difference in the soak. Oof! Right as Hanzo goes down. Pinging my support, pinging your support is a universally acceptable thing to do the moment you die, at least in pro play. If you watch a lot of pro replays, you will see it happen all the time. It's all in good fun, though. So not, you can see that they're not very far down in hero kill experience. They're technically down in structure experience, but really most of the disadvantage here is just in macro. Luna Meow is being bullied away from waves on the rotations. They are being forced. Forced into these awkward positions, and they're just down in experience purely from that. And now that they have level 10, Miracle should be able to turn that advantage into something significant to throw in onto Sniper. They're looking for something big here, and with the Sunder into the Malford, they might be able to get it. Baked Cheese is done. They took him out of the oven and served him up. With that kill, running past the forks, they had the minion wave. They should be able to get this down if they choose to do so. Raynor's Raider actually helped them out a lot there as well, taking a bunch of damage, or at least some damage from the fort. It did end up going down. We'll be back momentarily. And securing that bottom fort is such a big deal. Now they can sit on it for the rest of the game and be sort of not passive exactly, but as long as they hold bottom fort, they have 6 shots threatening every 2.5 minutes as those camps come up. Kerrigan can double soak, so they don't even need much experience. They have a really safe place to retreat to. There's a very narrow area for Luna Meow to get this back and make a play. Unfortunately, they can't even do it until they hit level 10. In fact, they don't even need to be actively clearing this. One person could just literally stand here, let the wave walk into the dead zone, and they would automatically soak the experience. The primary thing they need to do is make sure top doesn't do too much damage from that camp that Kerrigan did pick up. But it looks like they're just posturing here as a 3-man. They're sending Li Ming off to soak. They are soaking all the lanes, so that's good, but they only need 1 person here. They don't need 3. They could be more proactive. There's not even camps pushing in. Li Ming does get 1v1'd, and again, this is the risk of doing this 1-1-3 split when they don't even need to be bottom. Thrall gets the duel on that, or wins the duel, gets that pick. Kerrigan with the Ultralisk doing something very similar, using it to dive the fort. Nitrogen with the minion advantage and just straight up out dueling the Blaze here should be able to be in this position. People have been asking, why use Kerrigan as an offlane? This is why I use Kerrigan as offlane. Her shield talents, especially with the cleave, are now strong enough that she can actually outduel many of the meta offlaners and straight up push down a lane. Especially if she has a talent advantage or just has a time advantage from having better rotations, and that camp allowed them to secure top. They are now 1 building away from getting a 6 cap. Oh, beautiful lightning breath here. The peeling stay a while and listen goes down, but it's going to be insufficient to save the Hanzo from that unstoppable Diablo with the lightning breath. And Bunker coming out, not quite good enough. A little bit of anti-synergy really there between the heroics from Luna Meow. Surprised to see stay a while and lightning breath taken together. Normally it's Lornado plus lightning breath or APOC plus stay a while and listen, but every region has their own meta and their own things they think are good. Teams practice things a particular way, and it's foolish to deviate from your practice. So if that's what they have been working on, that's what they should be doing. Meanwhile, Raynor's just going to go help Kerrigan secure mid while this 3-man does brawl bottom. Sniper is just a little insane, almost running into the enemy team and feeding, but he's actually just going to be fine. And that is the 6 cap. There have not been very many 6 caps in professional Heroes of the Storm history. The Dig versus Genji one at Midseason Brawl was obviously the most famous one. There have been 1 or 2 others. So it's very unusual to be in this situation. And again, it just comes down to efficiency of the rotations, having again, they just have barely enough wave clear to be making this happen. Nice turnaround to Q for the shield from that level 13 talent. And this game may actually, there's a realistic chance this game ends. Ooh, as Sniper eats the Hanzo arrow, and as it actually ends up going down, That's sort of what Luna Meow needs at this point. They need these kills, but they're going to give up a lot. Frankel's just in the back line doing some work, and we're going to see him go down. No, not quite. The Tranquility there is going to make the save. Deckard is in a little bit of trouble with that Malfruit underneath the bunker. Chrysalis coming down for Kerrigan. That is almost enough. It is not enough. And Virgil may well pay for that cheeky kill with his life, but honestly, when you're this far behind, a 1-for-1 trade is 100% worthwhile, and that will be GG. Game 1, not even going to level 16 on Towers of Doom. Wow. Wow. Shout out to Miracle. That was clinical in its precision. And not only did they get the 6 cap against a team that was mostly alive at the time, they maintained the 6 cap. Whew. Whew. I hope you guys enjoyed that game as much as I did, because I enjoyed that game a whole lot. That was very, very impressive. Moving on to game 2, Miracle versus Luna Meow, Battlefield of Eternity. This is, of course, Luna Meow's map pick. And we're going to see, again, the Maiev bans. Maiev seems to be the hero of choice here going into the HCC finals. Maiev is just across the board considered really strong. And I know that might seem a little bit unusual to people, because Maiev had an amazing, explosive release. She was considered god tier. And then she got a few nerfs, and people were like, is Maiev still good? Yes, Maiev is still good is the answer. There was an interview with Snitch at Midseason Brawl, which I always cite when we bring this up. And Snitch literally said, Maiev is actually better after her nerfs, assuming you were playing her correctly. If you were playing her wrong, she's worse. And the reason he said that is because Maev's not very good at being a roam hero. A lot of people look at Maev's kit and they're like, oh, she's a roam hero. No. Maiev is a full-on teamfight hero. She needs people to be grouped to get maximum value for her kit. Her only really good pick utility is the pull, and that's only if other people are doing the damage, because you're just CC at that point. It's kind of like a tank situation. And you can argue that Disc is a relatively good pick tool, also, but it's also a good teamfight tool. However, her rest of her kit, the Q resets, cage, all of these things are hugely impactful, mostly in teamfights. And you don't teamfight that very, very often in pro play. You try to out macro first, and only if you stay even in macro. If the enemy team can't match you in macro, you just don't fight them ever, and you just win because macro. But usually if teams are even in macro, you get to the point where you have to fight. And Maiev is exceptional at macro. She does camps very, very efficiently with Tenacious and Memento, and she can double soak. She can double soak safer and better than most heroes in the game, honestly, to some degree. So if you give a team Maiev, you're basically saying you have an excellent team fight tool, and you have an excellent macro tool, you have an excellent wave clear tool. I don't know what else you could actually ask for in a first pick. So if anyone's been wondering, Maev's been banned a whole lot at this event, well, yes. There's a reason for that. Same thing for Genji at a pro level. He does too much in teamfights. He warps the game around him when pro players play him. Everything you do, all your rotations, the way you move around the map, even the way you position with your team and in relative tether distance from your support needs to change into a Genji. Hanzo also banned out. No surprise there. Hanzo is a good way to just accidentally lose on Battlefield of Eternity, as it turns out, just because his race is so superior to everyone else's. We do get the first pick Tyrande. Tyrande is a good pick hero, which means she's good on the defense on Battlefield of Eternity, and she's good on the offense because of Mark. Luna Meow responding with White Mane Diablo. A little bit surprised to see the White Mane, to be honest. After her health nerfs, I'm not 100% certain Maiev is safe as a soul, White Mane is safe as a solo support in competitive play. It just seems like if the team is good and they can get on top of her, so they draft any heroes, they can just get to her, she just dies. Which pros like dive comps, especially the more aggressive regions. And then we have Raynor, who could be a race hero. It is potentially possible in Tyrael. Tyrael just always sees a lot of play in low ping environments. The movement speed actually ends up being quite significant the lower your ping is in general, and the better your mechanics are over the enemy team. Then we see Kerrigan Zeratul coming out. Once you pick Tyrael, Zeratul is essentially a mandatory ban. And I think they're just confident that they can outplay the Medivh here. Medivh is also just a hard counter to Tyrael. Tyrael doesn't do anything if either one of these heroes exists in the game. But it looks like they were confident Luna Meow would not pick up Medivh. And then they pick up Li Ming on the back end for their race. And Miracle actually picks Hammer with Li Ming still available, and it's a good map for her, so it's interesting. So Luna Meow has the tools this time. I'm a little bit concerned about the white main. I'm a little bit concerned about whether or not they execute correctly with the Ming into the Hammer, but I feel like Luna Meow has a better draft this game than they did last game, and we'll just have to see if they manage to pull it off. So on the left-hand side of the map, we do have Miracle. Ooh, that Korean team that literally had to pull off a miracle in order to get there. We have Frankel on Raynor. I don't know what the Observer's doing. Blue Beetle and Nitrogen on Tyrael. And then on the top side of the map, we're going to have Judy on Mathael and Sniper on Hammer. I love the fact that a hero named Sniper is playing Hammer. It just makes me happy. On the right-hand side of the map, we do have Luna Meow, Boy005 on Phoenix, Kim on Diablo, Baked Cheese on White Main, and Immortal on Li Ming. We have Virgil on the off-lane Thrall. Could have potentially done something interesting here by putting Phoenix in the top lane. Phoenix does have a very favorable matchup into Mathael. Obviously, they don't know what the laning arrangement is going to be like. It's going to be a Feast on Fear Diablo, so nothing too unusual, just a little bit of a different talent than we had last game. Sniper just going to start the pain on the building. Notice Mathael in the mid there. He's actually potentially zoning for the rotation that they expect to happen. Hammer is relatively weak in the early game, surprisingly. You have a Hammer and a 4-man. There's a lot of different ways to punish the Hammer, especially if the enemy drafted correctly. They have the Ming, they have the whatever. So Hammer actually can deal with most melee heroes in the offlane. Sniper's going to start out up top here, do some free damage to the towers, and it's this more than anything else that really sets Korean play apart on the Hammer. They don't just use it in lane. They don't just use it as a replacement for a range. They adjust to maximize the impact, and Li Ming actually ends up going down there in the top lane. Judy running it down, able to secure that kill. Shame we didn't catch that on camera. And you know, pairing this 2-3 arrangement where you're pairing a wave clear hero with the Hammer not only protects the Hammer, but it means that Hammer doesn't have to worry about the wave. Hammer can focus solely on the structures, and the rest of the team is literally just trying to Fiesta. They're trying to keep the wave alive for as long as they can. They're trying to limit the rotation. If they can get a pick, great, but they don't expect to get a pick. You can see Frankel trying to reset Phoenix's shield timer there. Again, not actually trying to secure the kill. If he does, great, but they're just trying to make Luna Meow feel the pressure so they don't feel like they can rotate anyone else up to that lane to deal with that Hammer. Meanwhile, Mathael doing camps while Hammer does buildings. It's a match made in draft heaven, really, which is the place we all go to when we finally get out of MMR hell. Again, Sniper, so much pressure, and Li Ming cannot clear waves from the front. Li Ming has to clear waves from the side, and Thrall doesn't have any wave clear at all. So anytime you're in a wave clear mismatch situation in the 2v2, or even sometimes a 1v1 situation, if you don't have personal kill pressure on the opponent you're up against, you're just going to start losing structures, and Hammer guarantees that more so than other heroes. And again, Boy just taking so much damage here, actually stepping up even though his shields are gone. Of course, there were no burst cooldowns left to threaten him, so he knew he was safe to do it. And Judy rotating. Hammer doesn't rotate. Hammer doesn't rotate for the simple reason that Hammer cannot rotate safely or quickly, but Mathael can rotate. Mathael has a pale horse. Mathael is one of the fastest rotating heroes in the game, and he does camps. Bonus upon bonus upon bonus. Nitrogen getting a little low on mana. I wouldn't be surprised to see him back at some point, but he probably has been managing his tap point. And again, Frankel trying to pressure that back line. Notice that Nitrogen is posturing, body blocking, trying to keep Kim in there, and Frankel is really, really, really heavily pressuring that backline. And the reason Nachojin is body blocking the Diablo is so Tehran's healing throughput can continue to exist. Tehran's healing throughput is insane as long as she's attacking something. She has to be attacking something. And so Tehran attacks the front line, heals Frankel, Frankel chunks the back line, and they end up winning the cooldown efficiency trade consistently over and over and over and over and over again. And this is even before Frankel has his self-enabler from his level 1 on his level 7. So they're already winning these skirmishes, these trades, because of all the little way the pieces of their kits are interacting. They're going to win it even harder as soon as level 7 pops up. And again, just based on better rotations, they're going to get a ton of free damage on the Immortal. They already forced transition. And that is going to be a nearly full shield Immortal going over to Miracle. They also did not finish the camp, so they will be able to get that back up. And the camp plus the Immortal is going to be pushing the same lane, which is an insane advantage. Luna Meow got those globes, though. They were like, these are our globes. And Miracle was like, that's fine, we don't need them. Looks like they have been managing their tap, so everyone does have tap available. Syncing up taps is something you see a surprising amount of time in professional play. It's actually really nice to always have everyone on the same tap when they're in the format. So everyone backs up together, taps together, re-engages together with that health advantage. Sniper, gonna siege up, take the wall, and then move up. I wouldn't be surprised, I'd be a little bit surprised to see him siege too aggressively here, but as soon as his fort's down, we may well see some relatively large aggression. And again, Frankel just forcing everyone back. Everyone right now has a job. Frankel and Nachojin, their job, DPS people so that they're afraid to step up and clear the Immortal. Sniper's job, kill the keep. Blue Beetle's job, keep attacking things so that the trade can continue to happen. There's a clear plan for the execution for the way they want this to run, and because they zoned everyone off the Immortal so effectively, even eating like Li Ming shots to make sure that damage didn't change, the Immortal is still at full health. And granted, this was a full shield Immortal, but this is more than an Immortal should ever get going into the first phase, with the Talontier advantage, with that huge sustain, with the Tyrael shields, with the way they're positioning to bully Luna Meow away. And Judy even coming in with the wave clear advantage. Thrall is still stuck top clearing. Phoenix ends up going down. That is going to be Lunar Flare whiffing, unfortunately. Virgil has a shorter rotation because he can't come in through that mid gate, but that is the keep down. The Immortal is dead, and Miracle's not done. Miracle's going to keep going. They have a 2-level lead. They're not close enough to level 10. The Lunar Flare whiffs. Kim is in Africa, and he will end up going down. Does he have souls? No, he does not. He's at 73. He will come back in a normal death timer. Nachojin getting fairly low on mana. Oh, Judy took a lot of poke there. They're going to need something to attack to sustain back up. They have a minion wave, but it's not being pushed up with them. First Catapult has spawned and is on the way, but is not yet here. That orb did not miss. Sniper did the classic Hero League strat of not dodging, and Immortal unfortunately missed as a result. But they're chunked enough. They're backing up. Frankel's like, do we have to back up? Gets the solo kill onto Thrall. Frankel is just a beast on this Raynor. And this is the first Catapult. They have a hammer. They have level 10. At this point, they can completely throw away their lead if they wipe on core. Like, they could just be gone. But they have the Hyperion. They have the potential Tyrael Death Explosion for at least 6% of the core's health, depending on scaling. They are going to get the Yamamoto shots. Actually, that one might miss. Oh, no, the last one did go on, so they got the full value. 3% on core from Hyperion is less than they wanted. Sniper, again, burning his E. Raynor ends up going down. The Phoenix, I think Frankel at this point, Luna Meow is just like, we gotta kill Frankel. I don't care who else we kill. We just gotta kill Frankel. Frankel's been too far forward for too long. Let's just take him down. They got him. They're chasing them. The Sniper is gonna be fine, though. Sniper's just like, oh, you wanted me to go this way? That's fine. I didn't really want to go that way. I wanted to go this way. Tanks don't need roads. For some reason, lanes are now roads now. And Sniper is a DeLorean. I don't know. But he is out of there. 70 miles per hour, traveled through time to safety, is forced to burn unstoppable. Just not to get burned by the Immortal stun. Unlucky, and it looks like Miracle will be able to force halftime. Again, just a little bit ahead in the rotation, even without the Tehran mark. Luna Meow's not soaking experience right now, by the way. They're not level 10, and they're like, experience? Who needs that? Unlucky, really. And we are going to see, again, the force. I'm actually... Where's the Smite? Where's the Smite? Where's the Smite? There's the Smite. Not actually on Hammer's hitbox. That may be hitting him. I'm not sure, but doesn't matter. They actually win the Immortal regardless. Really wanted to see that Smite come down sooner for the attack speed boost. Did take that level 7 talent. And Judy, meanwhile, is just like, I'm a macro math AL. I don't actually help my team. I'll show up for like casting last rites, but otherwise I'm just going to clear waves and do camps. And I love this. This does not happen often enough. Miracle is doing, in my opinion, the best strategy on this map, which is if you have a significant advantage and core is open and the Immortal's pushing the other lane, just go core. Like, the enemy team can't just let you core. They have to, like, stop you. And if you have the wave set up top and it's already pushing, especially if you even have a camp with it, the Immortal will actually do more damage because you're not there and the enemy team is not there as a result. This is actually a really clever strat. It does involve a lot of discipline because you have to not tank too much core damage. You have to constantly clear the wave, wait for it to push up, keep poking. Last Right's going down on a Phoenix there. But Miracle pretty much has this game. Hyperion is a ridiculous core sieging tool. Sanctification goes down. Everyone is sanked. And we're going to see the attempt to go onto Sniper here to try and deny this core damage, but it just does not matter. That is going to be Miracle 2-0ing Luna Meow in the group stages of the HGC Finals 2018. You guys having a good night? I'm having a good night.